My name is Jakub Szczepanik. I'm manager of Agile Center in Allegro Group. Together with my team, we are supporting Scrum teams in Allegro Group. There are 60 of them in Poland, in different cities. And I want to share a few things about our practical findings from our implementations. So I will only focus on things that we felt, that we experienced, and they are from different perspectives. We are happy to have a lot of teams, a lot of products with different contexts. You probably almost all know Allegro.pl, but we have also PayU, Automoto, and many other businesses in our group that have different market position, different size of teams, different business perspective, business people, and all of that made our situation and our group quite nice experiment. We have many possibilities to check many things in practice of agile implementation. Probably you already have heard stories about Allegro.pl implementation. So now I want to focus more on all the other teams, because those different perspectives provide me a few different findings. Let's sit around the campfire. I cannot see your faces up there, but let's sit around big campfire and let's hear my stories. First basic question I never stop asking, and those many businesses in which we are working allow me to ask this question many times. Know why we want to become agile, because even in one group, in one company like Allegro Group, we have many different possible reasons to become agile. It is, just to mention few, most obvious one is that old management way of managing teams is not working. We are growing. What was good for managing 3 developers is not longer good for managing 10 developers. Issues with quality, long years of long projects in Waterfall made our quality of code crappy. I don't check this metric, but probably it is very crappy. So it occurred that we cannot continue to work like that. From the other perspective, there are businesses when strategy is changing and they have to switch to become very effective in delivering products, because also market is accelerating. Although we are quite, let's say, successful on our market, still there is a competition. Still we have to be very fast to deal with the market. So think about the reason why you want to become agile, and think about the measure you will track. Are you becoming agile, and are you on the good track? Because in every situation there will come a moment when someone will say, well, you are doing nice, I see that programmers are happy, you are actually even finishing projects, but why this Scrum working? Can we measure it? Show me the numbers, because yeah, you are happy, but maybe you are happy because you are lazy and you don't need now to work so hard. And it is good to have those numbers prepared. Actually, nice selection of numbers and measurements you could see on Tomek presentation. Maybe first controversial finding is that even Waterfall might be a bit better. In my opinion, there are teams in which going straight to Agile, straight to full Scrum, like shock therapy Jeff mentioned, might be too hard, especially if reality is that we don't have good coaches, strong coaches that will just change team and perform from the very first sprint. So my point here is that we can go and try to make our Waterfall better as a first step to become agile. And I'm mentioning not that we have to work hard to make Waterfall better for 1 year. It is like first month of the transformation could be also about making our Waterfall better. And I mean providing visibility to projects and to what teams are doing, defining clear roles, finding product owner who will decide about everything, form stable teams, finish everything that the teams are stuck in. They have in their pipelines finished most important projects. It is, in my impression, it is a bit Kanban approach. So start what you have and try to evolve. But in my opinion, try to evolve and head to Scrum because it is working. Analogy, especially before the lunch, and I know that you might be a bit hungry. For me, waterfall projects are a bit like takeaway food. You order takeaway food from a restaurant you haven't ordered before. And you can select what you want, you can order, you can call them, and then you only can wait. And you don't know what will be the quality, you don't know if they will be on time, probably not. And you don't even know how it will taste. Of course, you can call them if they are late. Where is my food? But I wouldn't recommend that. My brother was a pizza boy. Really, don't do that. We were there. We were ordering food, takeaway food from our IT department. Especially and I will mention this business, and especially in PayU, we were focused on doing projects with fixed time, scope, quality, and year-long projects. So we expect to deliver something for a year, wait, being nervous, and nothing changes. Instead, we tried another approach. Instead of ordering takeaway food, let's prepare it together. So after Agile transformation, even if such a situation like in PayU, we started to work together, product owners decided what to do. They were preparing everything together with the teams. And what was also important, that now when the visibility of what are the teams preparing, with this visibility, the business plans could become more realistic. And what we knew and what we had to do was twice the iteration of realistic and pragmatism of how fast our teams are and what can they deliver. Because the expectation of business in Waterfall were so high that we even twice had to reduce the scope of what things we can deliver. And when I'm in analogy of preparing something together with teams, it's like maybe we don't need to prepare everything. Maybe we can add some salt during the process. Maybe we can taste it during the preparation. How does it taste? It is partially ready. Let's taste it. Maybe meat and vegetables is enough. Maybe we don't need rice or mashed potatoes. We can decide during the process. Another story, also about hungry people, is about Agito transformation. Agito is a web shop, probably also you heard of it, and Agito had some problems with delivery. Actually, for months before the Agile transformation, they couldn't deliver big projects at all. They had many projects, but they were all stuck in IT. After Agile transformation, actually 6 months after it, most skeptical developer from Agito told me very nice thing. He said, well, wow, Scrum is working for us. Now stakeholders are not pushing us. Before, they just call, email, approach directly, do it for me. Total multitasking, nothing finished. And now they are fighting to be on the top of the backlog. They are trying to convince the product owner that what they are doing is most important and should be done first by the team. And interesting approach, practical approach from product owner. He actually decided that he can give a try. He allowed to taste the Scrum to all the stakeholders. So he didn't follow the, let's say, theory of product ownership and product backlog that you have to maximize return on investment. From time to time, he let the other stakeholders with less impressive ideas to try how the Scrum team is delivering. So from time to time, he prepared something for different stakeholders, and that probably wasn't maximizing the return on investment, but at least that helped to get a buy-in from many stakeholders. About product ownership, my advice and what we see now in the whole Allegro Group is that we shouldn't do projects. We should grow our product. And what I mean by projects, for me, project is having fixed scope, fixed time, quality, and if everything is set at the beginning, like requirements, then you can do only agile inside of bigger waterfall. Instead of that, we have many examples, and I'm not saying that we don't do projects in Allegro. Definitely, we are doing many of them, and project after project, we see that this is a bad approach, that we could do better. And we hear that from teams, but exactly the same we hear from product owners and managers above the product owners. And why not use, instead of doing projects, why not set the goal, think what's the problem to solve, and then try to find the most simplistic solution, first step to achieve the goal or to resolve the problem. So definitely there are practices here that I could recommend. For example, story mapping or impact mapping. You can check them. If you don't know them, you can check them during our workshops on third day of conference. Definitely we try to use them, and they show us the very positive results. A few days ago, my colleague went to one of the teams that is starting the project. Exactly the same pattern, they are starting the projects. And he asked them, well, how long it will take you to deliver this project? And they were after first session of groomings, and they said, well, it will take us 3 months. And they were quite happy that it will be 3 months. And he asked, well, why so long? Why you have to wait that long to deliver anything? So they worked together during next session, and they were able to go down to 1 month of delivery. And then after another session, they went down to 1 week. After first week of their development, they are able to deliver first solution to what business needs. But how to do that? Well, the problem was that initially they estimated it for 3 months because they are very clever, they are experienced, and they know exactly what this website will require. You know, yet another website that is doing something. So they already think about user account, search engine, payments, all this stuff that is quite natural for every web page that we see right now in the internet. But actually, why to use search engine? We don't need user account. Maybe in the first iteration we don't even need to being paid for our service. Let's give it for free. But let's try and find if it is working, what the user thinks about it, and let's learn. We will go step by step and learn and be wiser and decide during the project. This 1 week product definitely will not be minimum marketable feature. So of course we will not sell this product. Don't expect from Allegro Group new product in 1 week. But we can do usability tests, we can check with stakeholders are they satisfied, and we will come up to our MVP. But from the beginning of the, let's say, initiative, I wouldn't call it project, from the beginning of the initiative, think about most simple step you can take to deliver. Jeff already mentioned implementations that failed. And in our company, in few teams, we had some experience with failing of implementation of Scrum. It was, let's say, history, but we could actually check what are the reasons to fail to implement Scrum. And one main reason that we observe is the lack of managerial support. So there were some enthusiasts in these teams who were able to convince other team members, let's try it, let's start it, I will be your Scrum Masters, let's do this. But every single time manager came and told, okay, you are doing this Scrum, let's distinguish this, you are doing Scrum, okay, but I want to have reports and I want to have progress status and few other things, and you cannot do this. Go code, don't meet. And bit by bit, the Scrum vanished. And another problem, well, it's easy to blame managers, but also those enthusiasts who started weren't prepared enough. I mean, they weren't experienced, so they were only, let's say, enthusiasts without knowledge. They couldn't, or they didn't even start to convince managers. And also, after some time, also team members thought that, well, there are problems with our Scrum, so let's change the Scrum instead of changing our habits. But all those aspects are, let's say, somehow nearby lack of coach in these teams. And I can't stop praising the support that our coach gave us. At the beginning, he was our teacher. He was our external expert that helped to convince some managers to actually try this approach. But after some time, he was our mentor and coach. But also, he was our mother-in-law. We were like, yeah, we are so good now, aren't we? We are doing perfect Scrum. No, you suck. You are doing Waterfall. And you know, it's easy, especially after your first enthusiasm, it's easy to say that, yeah, we are perfect, we are now doing Scrum, but there are many things to improve, especially on level of organization. But when I mentioned our coach, it is also one practical tip how to cooperate with coach. It is not so common in Poland to hire coaches, but I strongly advise that. And if you are cooperating with coach, and in our case 60 teams, 60 Scrum Masters willing to connect with our coach, and it's of course limited. So what we went is the pattern of pair coaching, like pair programming, but we ask our coach to go to the one team, coach the team, give some feedback to Scrum Masters, but we pair him together with other Scrum Masters or Scrum Master or two, and actually we are forming this triangle. There is a team that is is being observed, there is a coach that is giving feedback, but also there is a third party that is showing, that is also observing, giving feedback, and comparing the observations that coach had and he had. And actually, we can follow this pattern without the coach, especially after some time when we are experienced. We can go together in pair to other teams and compare our experience. The other side of, let's say, masters is that we are having problems with finding good Scrum Master. And I mean good. It's unbelievably hard to find them on the market. They are almost non-existent. Good Scrum Masters work in good teams for good companies and have totally no reason to change anything. So when we cannot hire Scrum Masters from the market, we are the only possible route we can take is to develop our own Scrum Masters. And we also have this practical finding, maybe not so theoretical like Pavel mentioned, but we also see that it doesn't have to be most technically skilled person from the team to become Scrum Master. It is actually quite the opposite. The most expert senior developers are not exactly the best Scrum Masters. So it is possible, and we have successes with finding Scrum Masters from outside of teams, like in marketing or in customer care department. There are many people with good soft skills that have empathy and can join to the teams and see and make them better. So of course we have long way to go. Like people from customer care have no idea what teams are doing, so we have to learn them everything. But at least we can train our own, let's say, ideal of Scrum Master. And what we have a program we call Junior Scrum Master. So we are finding these let's say talents in the organization, and then give him or her, mostly her, the mentor, and they are learning together through questions, through observations. Some trainings also are included in that. And what we spotted is that initially we went again to waterfall approach with this training. Why waterfall approach? Because we started from obvious things. So let's explain ceremony by ceremony, artifact by artifact, role by role. And that was waterfall because, let's say, potentially ready Scrum Master was only after last lesson. So we have like months of trainings without outcomes, without checking if we are going in the good direction. So instead, we tried and already practice the walking skeleton approach to learning process of Scrum Masters. So instead of explaining one ceremony in Scrum, we are going in much more abstract ideas, like why we want to become agile, why do we need agile, how to work efficiently as a team, how to deliver valuable products or with good quality. And sprint after sprint, we have 1 week sprint of learning process. We have potentially ready Scrum Masters. Of course, at the beginning it is very weak Scrum Master, but it's the person who understands properly the basics. And week after week, we can be sure that we are going in good direction, and this person is developing from the basics. It will not be, let's say, team manager, Scrum Master who is doing proper ceremonies. It will be the person who understands from the root, from the Agile Manifesto to practices. One thing that we have to also admit is that initial enthusiasm to Agile might vanish. It is especially true for Allegro.pl, when we were so happy we were working as a team, but after half a year it practically vanished, and we thought, yeah, we finished. We are now Agile, Scrum is okay, let's do normal work. And especially that's true for managers. They think that they finished their work. So what we see is that whenever we need managerial support, cycle support groups, something like we had at the beginning called Scrum Transition Team, is always better than ad hoc work, ad hoc meetings. Always managers are saying that, well, you can approach me, I can give you any support you need. But the secret is in holistic approach. So not only development manager, but also, let's say, product owner, chief product owner, also sometimes marketing, sometimes HR. They all have to cooperate together to find the best solution on the spot, as fast as possible. And it is also not true that you can stop improving. I mean, that we finished everything, we are now super. Always there will be things to improve. You can always be better, and when you will overcome one obstacle, then there will come another. Actually, they were always there, those all obstacles, but we were too blind to see them previously. And treat in your company everything as an experiment. Change something. Well, maybe not start with changing, but find the problem, try to understand it, find the first solution that is coming up to your mind, and try it and check the results. Find the measurements to check these results. If you have many teams like we do, it's even better to do some kind of A/B testing. So let's try one approach here and different approach in different similar teams, and let's compare them. Even if there are things that might seem bad and you discuss about them and you are worried, it is far better to try something and take the results rather than just spend time on meetings discussing. That is for me agile on the level of the company, when everybody is trying and checking and coming up to conclusion. As a form of summary of this talk, I gathered few points that are working in, let's say, agile transformation, that work in few of agile transformation we have in our company, and few things that are definitely not working. Definitely you have to have reason why you want to transform. You have to understand it, you have to agree on it. There's a big role of managers. Managers often ask at the beginning of agile transformation, what is my role now? What is my role now when I will not now allocate resources? And well, your role is starting actually right now. Now you can start to do what you are paid for. You can support your teams, you can change the environment, and you can do whatever you want to make teams productive. Invest in trainings. It is like in Agility Index, how much money you invested in your Agile. It might seem like investment, but it pays off. Agile is not something that you can learn from the books. Definitely hire some coach. If you don't have coach external, maybe find some mentor and support them. Definitely that is something that helps to overcome especially initial obstacles. And last message, change the organization. Don't start with changing the Scrum. Scrum is only a framework. You can maybe play with it after a year or two, but at the beginning, everything that Scrum is showing you that is not working in your organization means that you have to change this, not change the Scrum. I had to choose few topics that I found, in my opinion, most interesting. If you think that something is controversial, you want to discuss more something that I mentioned, or you have specific questions how Agile is working in our company, there are few Scrum Masters from Allegro here. We have stand outside. You can come, ask questions. We are very open to discuss everything you need and share some information. And my closing message, go and change something. Propose something new, what you found most interesting in this conference, and change it, apply it to your team. Give the support to others in your company who want to change something and can change it. Find the important person and influence him to make things better. Or maybe feel inspired by all the things that you already heard and you will hear, and come up to something new that will solve your biggest problem you are having in your team. Improve your workplace or change the employer. Because I think there is no reason to struggle if there are no effects and we are too clever to be stuck in a workplace that is not don't want to use our full potential. Thank you.